Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the O-Face Podcast. I'm Chris Minx, your co-host, here today with Mr. Mocha as usual.
Hello.
We have some guests in the studio with us today. First off, we'll start with the ladies. We have the ever-present and beautiful Mrs. Splash Mocha, a.k.a. Tina, lady who is in charge of it all. Followed up by Mr. Craig McKinney, one of our regular guests, is rejoining us today for another episode. And then, very, very special guest, Mr. J Prez, very popular on Instagram and other social media outlets. He's joining us today live from the Mocha studio as well. Welcome, Mr. Prez. You want to introduce yourself, please?
I'm J Prez. I'm from Atlanta. This is my very first Splash Mocha.
All right. So what do you got all kind of stuff. Tell the people what you do, Prez, and tell them what made you decide to try Splash Mocha.
I do a lot of things. I'm into multimedia, so music, production, artist management, just a little bit of everything. But my main one is management.
Inspirational speaker and motivational speaker, I think is another one that needs to be added to this title, because if you follow his social media, you will find all kinds of uplifting messages, images, and photos. He's regular about uplifting his community and his people, so he's a really fun one to follow.
Well, sometimes I have to put stuff out so I can put some good energy out, some good energy to come in. At the same time, everybody don't have inspiration. You go on their page, it's just nothing but some bullshit. Sometimes when I'm saying, I might go to my page just to inspire me to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I am.
You're going to go to my page and just see dogs.
Hey, that's good. Hey, that make you happy.
It might inspire me to buy dogs.
Not the birds.
Yeah, you'll see dogs and birds. Animals. I'm probably going to die one day by petting something I shouldn't.
Alligator.
If it wouldn't bite me, you better believe it. I'd be petting that alligator.
And let me say, for the viewers, I know they can't, not for the viewers because they can't see, but for everybody listening, my man Prez got on a pair of fly-ass gazelles.
Always.
Taking it back old school, yo.
Always.
I'm loving it.
And when you pose with a picture with him, the lens covers that he has, the coatings on that, flashes up like these googly cartoon eyes. You can go look. The Minx and I had a picture with him in the photo booth last night, and he looks like these crazy comic eyes on his lens. I'm like, how did you do that? He goes, it's the coatings, man.
He got fly with it. It's the coatings, man.
Very nice, very nice. So, how's everybody's Splash going? I better start with myself because mine hasn't been particularly exciting yet. I've had fun, but it's not been exciting. So, I love Splash. I enjoy the setup. Believe it or not, I have fun with the setup process because with the setup, we just kind of we come in, you get to work, and I'm a sense of accomplishment kind of person. We come in, Tuesday, Wednesday, we set up, and Thursday we finish everything up for the most part. Thursday morning, I like to be able to sit back and go, oh man, we did all of that, and then we're up there, and I'm there, and I usually eat multiple times a day. I eat all day long. So usually what we'll do is Mrs. Mocha will go and she'll bring oatmeal, she'll bring
protein bars, sandwiches,
lunch meat, because even though we will eat out, I always have 3 other meals in between. I forgot to do that. So yesterday I'm up at the desk checking people in, and I shook somebody's hand, and my hand was shaking. And I'm like, oh, that's odd. And then I'm standing there, and I just kind of started trembling. I was like, man, I felt the way I feel when I go to the gym and work out real hard without eating. I'm like, damn, I haven't eaten. So I run upstairs and I grab a protein bar and some little carb bar that Mrs. Mocha has, and I'm running back downstairs to the desk, eating both of them at one time. And it still took me a minute to balance out. So while everybody's downstairs fucking and partying, I went upstairs and took a nap. That's what I did.
He was out.
Yeah, I was all the way out.
A nap is 30 minutes. Going out for 3 hours, that's a fucking nightmare.
No, he was out all night.
No. I was only out for about an hour. I went to sleep for about an hour, But then I got up and I showered, you know, like you get in the hot shower to kind of wake yourself. So I was like out of the game for like 2 hours. So I come back downstairs and it's like everybody's like, look like everybody's done. So I walked around for a little bit and then I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm going back to bed.
He rolls in like 11 o'clock into the play area.
Yeah, like,
where the hell is
everybody at?
Already. They're like, man, they've been done 1, 2, 3 times.
Exactly.
For the night.
This three nuts already gone and you showed up. You know what I mean? So that was my night. So today I plan on rectifying that. How about you, gentlemen? How are your nights?
I saw Mr. McKinney working his floggers with style last night in the BDSM room. I mean, he had some willing participants and he was in the zone. I've been told the Minx, I go over and say hi. She goes, oh no. He said, "Don't mess with him when he's in the zone." I didn't know that about you, so that's good.
That's an etiquette thing for BDSM type of stuff. You know, when you're flogging someone, you don't want to interrupt the scene and have them, because your focus is on what you're doing. You know, you don't want to break that focus and then. Who knows what could happen after
right. You're creating an energy, and you don't want that energy to be broken.
You don't want that energy to be broken. There's times where someone will come over and they've done something, and I kind of get angry because I'm like, yo, don't do that. You know, don't disturb that.
Yeah, you in your zone.
Yeah, you in your zone, and then that person,
you
kind of focus because I've told plenty of people, you know, when you're flogging somebody, you doing certain things, certain tools that you have, it can cause a lot of damage. You hit them in the wrong place, you could scar somebody emotionally and physically with that. So you know, you wanna always keep your focus on that, so you don't disturb the scene when you have somebody singing. You know,
I think that's a key important point that we're going to bring up in this because I wasn't necessarily aware of that. It's not my scene, and I've not paid a lot of attention to it. The Minx has talked with you and watched that kind of stuff go on. But again, you get the amateur people like, oh man, I'm going to go beat this girl right now.
Oh my God.
And those are bad situations, right? So there's people need to understand, if you want to explore this, make sure you explore with somebody who is trained or has experience and does it the right way so that you don't create this long-term potential scarring damage. That's
You got to learn first where not to hit. Like, you don't want to be whacking somebody in the fucking kidneys. You know, like they're right there.
You know, hit somebody hard on the spine and, you know, it cause some damage in this.
You know, and then like even with I think that, you know, a lot of people don't understand, like you'll see the people who in there just, you know, whacking away, okay, like the people who are like, oh, you know, let me try this, and they're in there, like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how it works.
It's not.
You want a crescendo. You bring it up. You work them up. You know,
get that blood flowing.
Yeah.
And like you said, Chris, man, I've talked to people where they've had a bad experience where someone has walked up to them and hit them, or they, you know, without permission they hit them, or they're there and there's no warm up, or they'll do something and they're like, no, they're physically scarred. No, not physically, but they're emotionally scarred because of you know, something that somebody else has done to them. Mm-hmm. You know, you already have the perception that being flogged, a lot of people think that that's all about pain, and it's not. I can do very, very sensual flogging with people. And then I talk to somebody and I'm like, hey, can I flog you later? They're like, nah, because it hurts. I'm like, no, it doesn't hurt. Well, this person did this to me, and I'm like, so now I got to talk them down from that and get them comfortable with everything. And then they try it and they're like, wow, you know, that's great. I enjoy that.
Yeah, it only takes one bad experience to be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good on flogging. So how long you been doing it?
I picked up, somebody just asked me this the other day, just earlier today actually. The first flogger I picked up it's between 10 and 15 years ago. It was a very interesting, it was a flogger that had brass knuckles on the end. It didn't have a handle, it had brass knuckles. And seeing the girl who did it, seeing the attention that she got from it, and seeing how people reacted to it, I picked it up and I started. You know, and it just kind of grew and grew and grew. Thankfully, I tell people, I was kind of a natural at it. The movements and everything. Like, I watch certain people and it's a struggle for them to get the falls to go, and everything is not rhythmic. And, you know, so thankfully it came easily to me. But it's been 10 to 15 years. It's when I first picked up my flogger.
So it's like King Arthur and Excalibur. You just pull it out and all of a sudden you just, I got it. I have the power.
Like He-Man, I have the flogger.
I think I got before Mrs. Mocha and I, like I still have my tools, but we had a big period of time where once the kids got to a certain age, there's certain things we had to kind of certain shit we just had to stop doing at the house, like especially when you hear you hear certain stuff. So, but like I think like when I first got into like floggers, crops, canes, for me it was a natural progression of the way I would do things. Sensually, like during sex. I was a massage therapist, so to me, touch was a big thing. So, people would always laugh at my nails being long, but my nails were, it was a tool, running down your back, squeezing, whether I'm putting my nails into her breast, putting my nails in her ass cheeks, put my nails in her thighs.
Not to interrupt, but I bet it was the women that were jealous of your long nails because they have to go get theirs done and yours just grows naturally.
I do have the long nail beds, and the girls at the salon are always when I would come in, and I would go get my nails done when I would take my daughters in. And, the ladies would always be speaking in a different language, talking about my nail beds. So all of the ladies would come down and look at my nail beds, talking in a different language, doing like this. And
it's
then they leave.
The one has shown up. You got to come see it. This is the guy. One. We've never seen it.
So here's a fun fact about Mr. Mocha. Growing up, I was super self-conscious about my nails. And my nails, my eyebrows, because I got sisters, so they would always fuck with me and say, "Oh, you got girl nails," or "You got girl eyebrows." So like, no shit. Until Mrs. Mocha, I shit you not, I would fuck up my eyebrows on purpose. Like I would always like ruffle my eyebrows so that they look fucked up because I wanted them to look manly, because my sisters would always fuck with me about my eyebrows and my fingernails. Like I was always just because the girls were like, "Oh, your nail beds are so pretty," and I'm like, "That's not the goal. Like, it's not what I'm doing. Like I don't want." So that was fun fact about my personal self-consciousness. But the reason I got into like using floggers and crops and things like that, because it was kind of natural for me as you're learning sexual pleasure when you're playing with a woman to see that there is those different thresholds. When do you introduce pain, and when do you introduce pleasure? And especially like when you're watching somebody, the first time you accidentally stick your nails in them, they go, like, "Huh? Yeah, okay, that's the thing. I'll do that more." And so that's really how I got into the next level. My first tool for spanking was a wooden spoon. The first thing.
Harken back to your childhood.
Well, no, not the first thing I got spanked with. I'm not talking.
I got spanked with too when I was 10.
Well, she was in the kitchen and I had it in my hand. And I kept that. I used that wooden spoon for a while. Like that was like one of my. In fact, at home in my toolkit, where I have the flogger and the crop, I have fucking laundry pins.
Yeah, those are lethal, man.
Oh,
those
I love those. But see, if you use them right, I got laundry pins. I got a wooden spoon. I would use a fork.
Oh yeah, I would like
anything because all of these different things create weird ass sensations, like a brush, fucking feathers.
Like Mr. Mocha's kitchen experience.
I know.
Oh yeah,
Welcome to my dungeon. It's the kitchen in the house.
It sounds like you're making some scrambled eggs or something.
I'm making something.
Yeah, but you're right though, man. I know the girl who had the flogger that I spoke of. She had that same type of thing. She had all sorts of stuff from the kitchen up in there because you know what she used. One time I seen her use. She had in her thing a meat tenderizer. Because I mean, she would, you get those girls that like pain and everything, but she had a fucking meat tenderizer that she hit people with it.
That's never been my mode of operation. I'm not hitting nobody with a meat tenderizer.
Hey, listen, don't yuck somebody else's yard.
No, I'm not. I'm covering my balls up. I'll tell you that much.
There's people that sat there and took it, man. And one of my most popular tools that I have are my gloves.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People, I can't tell you how many times people ask me, they say, I have to get a pair of those. Because after I have
elaborate on these gloves. I've not seen them. Let's
all right, so I have a pair of gloves.
You ever seen those gloves?
They're made out of rabbit fur. It's real rabbit fur. But in the end of each one, there's a little steel claw. So after I flog somebody, I get them all warmed up and get them good, and we have a really good session. I use these for cool down. And I rub them with the rabbit fur, get them all warmed up, and rub them down a little bit, and then I take that claw down the back and put the claw in there, and you can see women just and I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many people have asked me, be like, hey, I need the website for this because those are absolutely incredible. But it goes back to like you saying, the nails. I don't have, but even when flogging. I have very, 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 very brittle nails. My nails can't grow. So, but
mine won't fucking break.
But I flog people, and I'll have my flogger in my one hand, and I'll slightly dig my nails, what are left of them, into their back, and you can see them just kind of tense up. But it's all about that sensation, man. And when you said that about the nails, I wish I had longer nails that could dig a little bit harder into them. But that's why I got them gloves.
Craig, have you done this to the Minx?
I have not. I don't think I've ever even flogged her.
I don't think you flogged her either, but I have. I didn't know what they were. They're sitting on the nightstand in our bedroom. I'm like, where does it look like somebody killed a rabbit?
Somebody did kill a rabbit.
And they have a sharp. They have those claws on. I'm like, what are these? She goes, I don't know where those came from. What? No, now I know what those are.
Yep. They are the one. I mean, people ask me here. They're like, I need you to flog me. Did you bring the gloves? Yeah, I got the gloves. It happens. I can't flog anybody and not use the gloves afterwards now.
My problem is whenever I do things like that, the amount of mental energy that I put into it, you're paying so close attention to the person you're touching. Like the level, at least me, like the level, because I'm looking for every sound, every move, because you're learning, especially someone who's new, and you're trying to figure out where their thresholds are. You have those pain, and I'm always opposite. Like I've played with women who were really into pain, and so then I deny them. I tell you, you can't have it. If like you're really into pain, I'll reward you with it, but I to me it's exciting to change their thresholds. Like the people who are used to the pain make them crave something different, but the amount of attention you have to put in there. So what tool am I going to use? And then like when you start playing with the different sensory things, like I like to put, like you start with like headphones on. Like I used to make a playlist of music, and I would put that in their ear, and it's loud enough to where you can't hear anything but that. So every time you hear those songs, I want you to think of me. I would get the text message like, oh my God, I was at work and I heard the song and I got wet, and I'm like, got her.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm a pervert, so
What's one of the songs that you did?
One of them was hold on, do I have it on here? Wait, I'll play it for you because it was the original intro for
O
Faces. It's the original intro, and that song.
I remember that song. I can't think of what the name of it is.
Can you hear it playing?
I don't hear you playing nothing. Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Moments of Love.
Moments of Love.
Yeah.
God, who's this?
And
I
that,
wanted
like,
Art
that
of
whole
Noise or
CD
something
was
else.
weird as shit, all these different sounds.
Yeah.
Art of Noise.
Art of Noise.
Art of Noise.
That one, there's a song from, what's the...
I can hear women now getting wet already.
What's the fucking? It's like one of those, because I was a massage therapist, so there were different massage songs. Is it Enya? It's
Yeah, they had a song. I can't think of what it was, but yes, they did have a very.
So I'll have to, like, I know the songs. I'll have to put the playlist together. And then another one was Usher. Let It Burn. Like, that was one of my favorite ones. Like, I had just random songs that it would depend, and then the female, it would also depend on the playlist. That's why I would have to put so much mental energy into it. And then I like to do restraints with, I would like to do restraints with no restraints, where it's like, okay, I make her put her hands in the position, and I pleasure her until she moved her. If you move your hands, now the pleasure stops. All right. And with Mrs. Mocha, like, I tortured my wife. I tortured Mrs. Mocha. Like, I would make her, like, stand in, like, a certain position until, like, she shook. And then as soon as her muscles were ready to give out, then I'd hit her with the fucking wand. And, like, she, like, just be shaking. You know, I've got pictures of her, like, in the basement, which would always be good because I'll wait till the kids would go to bed. And I'll make sure, like, you can't make noise because the kids are upstairs. And so, like, the level of torture that you fucked my wife. She's noisy. When my wife is in her zone, she can't help herself. And there would be times where she would be, like, in tears because she would hit that place where she wants to make noise, but she's a good mom, so she don't want the kids to know that she's in the basement being a slut. I don't want the kids to know more. And me being a terrible parent, I'm like, I'm gonna do it harder now. Challenge accepted. Please stop. So Mrs. Mocha, like, she's definitely had every aspect of my ridiculousness. So, like, there's things that I can still do to her. Like, if I pull the flogger out, I can just walk out with the flogger, and she'll get this look in her eyes like, is it time? I was just going to put it back. So, yeah.
That's just mean.
I know.
So we were going around, we started the show talking about how everybody's night was first night, right? And we kind of got hooked up with Craig, and we took it down to the BDS. There's a lot more that goes on at Mocha events other than just the BDS Dungeon Room and Mr. Craig with his flogger.
Well, so let me expound on what happened to me last night. Tina, you don't say nothing, Tina.
Earmuffs. Earmuffs.
So last night I was standing outside of the ballroom, finished dancing and everything like that, and my man Marty was standing there, and some girl, not gonna say, but she walked up. She knew him. She walked up and just started giving him a blowjob right there in the hallway and everything. And I was standing next to her, and somebody started giving me a blowjob. And then another girl came over, was giving me a blowjob. So the two of them was standing.
I've been
there
standing in the wrong spot.
Yes, you were. So wait.
What spot you was at? I didn't be in that spot.
Hold on, Mr. Mocha. So while the two of them was giving me a blowjob, this third girl walked up and said, "You're not doing it right. Let me show you. You're supposed to do this. You just got to do this." And they were like, "Well, why don't you show us?" So I had three girls in the hallway giving me a blowjob.
And you were being the demo dummy for them.
Yes.
What the?
A demo dummy, it would be more like a blow-up doll.
Yeah, no shit.
So I'm
about to start dressing like Craig.
I know, I didn't get my hat.
You just got to wake up a little earlier.
Okay.
So Splash was a good kickoff last night for me.
Mr. Prez.
I'm gonna say my first day was good. It was a slow start, but it was good. I'm waiting until today. This day two, I'm gonna be outside.
As a first timer, did you find the first day to be overwhelming? Did you control your pace at a good pace?
Man, it was overwhelming.
You could see where you could just run right into this thing and be like, deep into the pool.
It's a sprint. I don't know what they talking about, but it's my first, like I said, it's my first time. I don't know about no sprint, but it's definitely
You're training for a marathon.
You training because it's really overwhelming. You turn around, you see this, you see three women you want to do the blowjob. You're like, oh shit, wait a minute. It's overwhelming. You just gotta really.
Let me just pull my dick out and see if I'm off land. That's gonna let my dick hang out right here.
So let me ask you something as a first timer, because maybe this could help us for people who are first timers. You know, we talked about this previously before we came last week, talking about people who were new and how do we get couples to feel more comfortable. What was it about coming to Splash your first time that made it overwhelming? Because if you can give us some insight as to what you thought was overwhelming, we could take that and maybe put it out to the next. Because I meet a lot of couples and a lot of people that are interested in coming, and I'm just like, listen, the only thing I can say is, listen, once you come, I'm telling you, you won't feel overwhelmed, you won't feel out of place. So is this something that you could say that actually made you feel overwhelmed?
Well, I don't feel. I'll never feel out of place. Everywhere I go, I feel comfortable. But it just a whole lot going on.
Like a lot of visual stimulation.
Yeah, a lot of visuals going on.
There's a lot going on.
But
the costumes, the women, the different outfits.
Yes.
Just the whole dynamic of everything.
Just the women in general. Like, okay, the different type, the different. How do I say? The different types of women. I'm not good at words.
I think I get it, because I get overwhelmed still, but I'm comfortable. I'm not Splash Mocha is the most comfortable lifestyle event I've ever been to, but I get overwhelmed personally because I will walk in and I know I'm standing in one spot and I'm looking at 7 women that I want to play with, and like, I'm the guy who I'll be at home and I will want to play with somebody, and I'm trying to figure out who I want to play with, and then I fall asleep on the sofa. Because I want, and like my wife will probably be like, okay, why don't you play with this person? Because otherwise I'm like I'm looking like, like I'm staring here, and by the time I decide who I want to play with, she's already walked away. Yep. So that's what overwhelms me, is just me trying to
like prioritize.
Prioritize and make a decision.
Like, okay,
that is Mrs. Minx Angel last night. She's like, oh, that's a new guy. She got like this checklist, and I'm like,
gives a whole new meaning to the word to-do list.
But I'm like, it's 10 o'clock, and you haven't touched one thing on your to-do list here, right? So, and then all of a sudden, everybody's
that's a hell of a to-do list to get in trouble for not going through with the to-do list.
I tell her, I said, I didn't pay for this for you to come and talk.
Oh yeah.
That's one bit of advice I always tell anybody that's coming. If you see somebody, you better act, because by the time you think about it, they're gone. And at this event, it's not as prominent as like Fort Lauderdale, where if you see somebody, you may not see them again. At all. So if you see somebody you're interested in it or whatever, you need to act on it, because you sitting there and just waiting for something to happen, somebody else is going to talk to them.
Yes. So if you like her, 12 other guys like her.
You have to act on it, because if you don't, you may not have that chance again.
That's how this is the vanilla life too. If you see a girl and you want to talk to her, you better do it now or she's gonna be gone. So that's how I bring that to the lifestyle too. When I see the women, I'm like, I got to say hey and then introduce myself.
So we have an audience. Is there anybody who wants to?
Oh hey, I didn't see
anybody
I can't see nobody.
to tell us how you're feeling about your experience. Anyone feeling brave back there?
So we got this is a new couple, and
welcome.
They actually came. They listened to a different podcast that I and Mike were on, and they listened to it and heard us talking about Splash and everything, and they were like, okay, so let's jump in and try this.
Nice.
And so this is their first Splash Mocha.
Hey newbie.
And it was actually a year ago we did the podcast here. So, and then they jumped in. So they've only been, what,
So
how
your
long has it
first
been?
Splash.
Since October.
5 months.
Okay.
5 months.
Okay.
5 months, never done anything before.
Oh,
What do you
okay.
think so far?
New to the lifestyle, not just a
After
splash.
30 years of talking about this.
30 years.
30 years.
Wait, so you've been talking about it for 30 years?
Pretty much. So sweethearts.
Wow.
And was it the podcast that was the final link in the sequence that put the ignition together?
It was listening to those two on that podcast was like, oh, they're actually normal guys that do this.
Everybody here is normal.
It was no.
It's great. It's a great experience.
She just pointed at Craig like, I don't think Craig's normal. You are correct.
100% correct.
You are correct.
So
She's
she was,
perceptive.
That's why they
I
call
like that
himself
one.
the Hot Superman.
so we were talking. So then when she met me, well, apparently she did some research and was like, "Oh God, he scares me." So then she met me in line, and I'm yelling at Goliath, "Come on, Goliath, come on, let's sit him down in line." And she's like, "No, you scare me." And all of a sudden, I went from this nice, relatable guy to this demon that she's afraid of.
So first, I think I checked. Didn't I give you guys your bags when you came in?
Yes.
Do you have a skirt on?
When we came in today?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. No, I'm sorry. It was good.
Fitness fantasy.
It was a good skirt. But yeah. So your first time, and as far as the energy, how do you feel about the energy?
I think it's great. I think it's the women, the way they treat each other is like
Yes.
amazing to me.
Yeah.
And just everybody is kind.
Yeah.
And the one thing that you're going to find about Splash Mocha is then everyone is genuinely happy to see you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's more like a family. If you'll notice, everybody knows everybody. And I'm going to apologize to you now because this will not be your last one.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the Minx's, the Angels and I's 9th in 2.5 years. Our first one was Atlanta in 2022. And she wasn't through the first night of it. And she looked at me and she goes, I want to go to the next one. And I said, yes, the next one's sold out. We'll go next year. She goes, no. I want to go to the next one. And we did day passes and drove to Florida and stayed 15 miles away and came with our bags every day so that she could attend the second one. Now it is like homecoming week. Every time we show up for one of the parties, you just come in and open arms, new friends, old friends, everybody just like, hey, hi, welcome back.
And everybody's engaging. If you'll notice when you walk around the lobby, normally you go to a restaurant, what do you see? You see people, husbands and wives, sitting there at the table, looking at their phones and not talking to each other. This restaurant, you walk around there, what do you see? Husbands and wives sitting at the table, and their phones are not out. They are engaged with each other and around with everybody around. So I call it the Splash Mocha bubble. So everybody comes into Splash Mocha, they get trapped in the Splash Mocha bubble. Yeah. So you walk through those doors, I bet you have thought very little about what happened yesterday, what's going to happen tomorrow, or what's happening next week. You are living in the moment.
Today.
And exactly. Not many of us in nowadays, our lives go at 100 miles an hour. Not many people live in the moment. Even this is my job. I forget about outside of here and what I'm going to do next week. I'm solely focused on this event and the people that's in it. So, I get trapped in that Splash Mocha bubble, and it gives your brain a break.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
And so we've got another couple. Is this your first time?
I'm not trying to one-up these good people.
Uh-oh. that means he's about to one-up you guys.
We've been married coming up on 39 years. Not even in the lifestyle, never been to anything. So this decided to jump into the middle of it.
Talk about
That's going in like the 20-foot deep end of the pool.
Yes.
No kidding.
But it's like,
Exactly.
it's like we wanted to be excited. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to be anybody. We don't have to be us.
Yep.
And we want to see what the energy is. We want to feel the energy.
It's very good energy here.
It's
I can say
interesting.
that.
There was it's fucking eye-opening.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, I didn't know that somebody could do that. Wow. Okay.
How did you guys hear about Splash Mocha?
Podcast and everything else.
Yeah.
Mike C.
It was a
and
fluke for you. And then
yeah,
you
O
went back.
Faces, and then
Nice.
Venus, the Dot Chocolate, all those different
Yeah.
things. I mean, they just all kind of roll into one's talking about the other, and you kind of go this way, that way, this way, that way. And she was scared to death. Not gonna lie, I was concerned.
Hey,
Something like this.
listen, it's my job, and I'm scared to death before every single one of them, so it's okay.
I know, but it was just like, this is way outside of our box.
Right. Right.
Having
relish-
listened to a number of the podcasts and hearing how everyone had spoke about how safe it was. And Tina, you talking about it a lot. You've been on a lot of different ones, and you come at it from a different angle most of the same time, but you give the same answers. It was very helpful. Mr. and Mrs. Mocha, they helped a lot too.
Thank you.
So,
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for being here.
And I'm gonna tell you guys.
Welcome to the family.
Thanks for having us. I'm like,
Well, thanks
Yeah.
for making us safe.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys something. Like you hear this is the thing that you're gonna hear. Like you hear the whole, it's like family. It's like family. There's a lot of bullshit places that you'll go to where you hear that thing. It's a thing that people use. But when I say it's like family, I can cite examples. Yesterday, me and Mr. Minx had a conversation about my summer plans with my daughter, who's coming in from overseas, which is gonna be him taking us out.
We're going to put him on some fish. His daughter loves to fish, and so we're now hatched a plan to put her on some special big fish this summer.
Yeah, and they've all been to my home. Everyone here has been to my home. The people who are sitting here can literally be at my home when I'm not there. I met these people in the lifestyle. These are people who I trust on a different level. So you can go to work and go, oh, we're like family, but now how many of your coworkers would you give the alarm code to your home and say, I'll be out of town, go ahead? That's not family, but here, the level of trust that we have, because we're on a different level. Literally, we can talk about things that you can't talk to people you've known for the last 40 years.
Facts. That's facts about that.
So now, and that's why even in that seminar where I came into, the concept of trust is huge. Trust is a major thing. And so when we say it's family, these are our friends. Like everybody, we're really friends. So that's the thing that you're going to find. So as you take your journey, if you go into it the same attitude, the same smile, walk in there like you're the fucking mayor. Say hi to people, smile at people. No one here is going to bite you, especially if you got a partnership where one of you guys have an outgoing personality. Walk up to people and talk to them. Say hi. One of the things that new people where they fail at is they kind of go into the corner
And just look around.
and they look around. And so if I see you and your wife, okay, I'm not. Well, can I come say hi to them? So the guys here want to be respectful. So even if they want to come and approach your wife, they're going to like look at you. And if you're sitting there with the rigid look, like, all right, let me go talk to somebody who looks like they're not about to shit a brick, because that guy is just as nervous as you are, So make sure, get to know her, say hi to everybody, learn names, and you're gonna the doors that are gonna open up for you. It's forever. It's not.
You're
she's the
gonna
outgoing one.
meet friends. You're gonna meet people here. That's gonna you're gonna maintain those friendships outside of here.
Oh yeah.
And it's I don't know. It's just a great mix of people. And with you guys being new, when you introduce yourselves, let them know this is your first Splash Mocha. One, our Splash Mocha veterans love meeting new people, and two, it's a great conversation starter. That's your segue
This is
into.
the outgoing one.
Well,
Oh,
then
we
you
know.
can tell
We
people
know.
that you're new and introduce you, and now you've got your segue into a fantastic conversation of
And we
meeting
have
new
had
people.
Conversations with a couple of people with that.
we bought the whole package from Tuesday to Tuesday, just so we can kind of come in low, slow,
Yeah.
get a grasp of the whole thing, get an idea of what the layout's going to be, and
So
Yeah, last night was eye-opening. Tonight will be probably the same eye-opening, just on a greater scale.
you have a little more comfort level, and you're like, okay, well, let's step it up. So let me just kind of address as the white husband on the panel here, right? And the Mocha guy that comes. I've been trying to convince my wife to come to one of these for a while. And we met on a swinger cruise, a couple, and said, you guys are Mocha people, you need to come to this party. So we've been in lifestyle a long time. But my big joke was like, yeah, we're going to go to this party, I'm going to be invisible. I will be around as the support husband, all that kind of stuff, but nobody's going to care about me, and I'm just going to be,
There's
that
no
back.
way you can be invisible.
That was the furthest thing from the truth when we got here. What I found, and you, especially you brand new starting out, and you just 5 months in, what you guys, what the husbands can get from this is that kinsmanship and that opportunity to share and be with brothers, right? Literally guys who think and act and are turned on by the same things that we all are, but we're further down that path. And so your angst, right? Relish those feelings, because that dulls over time, and then it's like, honey, I'm just going to go over here and get something to eat. You go play. Let me know when you're done. Kind of, right? It wears off. Enjoy that feeling now. And when you have concerns, talk to all of the husbands, because that's the best part about this. I feel the most normal in my life when I am at events like this and when I'm hanging around my other hot wife husbands, or whatever, our stag husbands or cuckold husbands, whatever, the husbands of these incredible women who have, and we've talked about this in past podcasts, transcended society's rules of females and said, I want to be my sexual being, and I want to experience all that I can, and I have a partner who is supportive, lovely, and trusts enough to let that experience happen, right? So here, we can be nervous and quiet and all that, but you are amongst friends, and you are amongst trusted people I will talk to you till you're blue till I'm blue in the face, and your ears are melting off your head about the journey, right? And the experiences and how we do. We've done podcasts about the male emotion and how that is not really accepted or talked about in general. We're trying to pull all that back and acknowledge that the guy's role in this is critical in that partnership. So yeah, that's the benefit of you being here too, as they're being all hot and sexy and all that kind of stuff. When you have those feelings, don't hold them in. Talk to somebody about them, because we've all been there.
Oh, because it's good.
Well, that was his biggest thing. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
What am I
What do I do?
supposed to
What's my role?
What's my role?
But listen, no one here will be freaked out, because anything that you think or wonder, like, it's so open here. Like, for us now, like, we'll talk to people and the guys are like, hey, I wanted to ask this question, but I don't want it to be weird. And they'll ask you a question, and we'll, like, look at each other like, that was it? Like, that's all you got? Like, okay, yeah, that was nothing. Like, bro, I'm cracking jokes early because my wife takes a guy up to the room and gets fucked, and we're going through this whole thing, and she's like, yeah, and I gave him some of your good bourbon. I'm like, you gave him the good one? Was the dick that